Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Zerlin, and I'm a co-founder of Sky Mavis. We're the inventors of Axie Infinity. So it really means a lot to me to be here today. Korea has been so important for our revolution, for our game. So I think many Koreans actually know about our game and play our game, which means a lot to me. My mom is actually Korean, so I actually can speak a little bit of Korean. I was living in Korea for the last 10 months, so Korea is very special to me. It's really means a lot to me to be here today. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about Axie Infinity. So Axie is a game, but our goal is to really introduce the entire world to something that's new and scary, blockchain technology, through something that's fun and cute and nostalgic. Nostalgic is the strongest of human emotions. So these are Axies. They're pets. You can battle them, you can collect them, you can even breed them. But our secret is that we use cryptocurrency and blockchain to turn our game into a real digital economy. So there are people who all over the world are earning money by playing this game. And I'll talk a little bit about how that's actually happening. So far, we've, I think, really shocked the world with some of the numbers that we've put up. So we've generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, with much of that coming in just the last 30 days. Our NFT marketplace has done over $1 billion of player-to-player NFT transactions. We've even seen NFTs within our ecosystem sell for millions of dollars. So what is Axie? So Axie isn't just one game. It's an entire universe of games. So you can battle them, you can breed Axies, but we also have new games that are coming in the future, such as this land-based game. You'll be able to collect resources, fight over territory, and even form alliances with your friends. So at its core, we think that Axie is about economic freedom. We're starting to see the world becoming increasingly virtual. People are spending more and more of their time online. It doesn't really matter what clothes you have anymore, right? It doesn't matter what watch you have. It's more about our digital identities, our digital possessions. These are becoming more important day by day. So we believe that games are becoming economies, and because they have, right, even laws, a financial system, these games are actually becoming like nations. And we think that Axie is the first of these digital nations. So yeah, so we see ourselves as game developers, not just as game developers in the traditional sense, but actually as nation builders, where we're building these virtual worlds. We're also making the infrastructure that makes them possible. So how do we do this? So we are turning the traditional gaming model on its head. So a traditional mobile game developer, for example, might, make their game free to play, or they'll be selling skins and items or in-game resources directly to the players. Crucially, they're taking 100% of all the money spent in the game. Our model is different. So in our model, you can think of it as the players actually have the right to distribute the game for us. So they're creating Axies through breeding and actually selling those on a open player-to-player market. So the player-to-player market is really the king in this model. 95% of all the value is actually going to the players. And we as the game developers are only taking a 4.25% commission on each trade. So you can think of this in some ways as, right, in the traditional gaming model, the taxes are 100%. The game developer is taking all the money, whereas in our model, we're only taking 4%. So these are Axies. You can battle them. Yeah, this is from an upcoming game mode. So if you're an Axie player, you might be really excited that we're going to be introducing this upgraded battle system later this year. So how do you actually play Axie? So first you need 3 Axies, then you can download the game. And then while you're playing, you can actually earn these in-game resources. So there's the Axis token, which many of you probably know about. I think it's really popular in Korea. But we also have this other potion, the Smooth Love potion, which is then used to breed Axies. So we've created this new model of gaming. It's called Play to Earn, where you're able to earn these in-game rewards and then actually sell them for real cryptocurrencies, which you can convert to your local currency on exchanges like Binance and Uniswap, and of course, Upbit. So this has become way more than a game, right? So there was just a documentary that came out recently about these grandparents who they're able to actually earn a living by playing Axie during the COVID pandemic. They're in the Philippines. And they say that they hope that Axie won't go away. They're praying that it won't go away. So it's really become way more than a game at this point. The stakes are so high. And it's really something that I think has never been seen before. So a lot of people, right, they focus on the economy because this is where we've innovated. We've created a new way of running a game economy. But of course, it's really important that the game is also fun, that the community is really fun to engage in. And so I think it's really important that when we ask our players, what is your favorite aspect of Axie? More than 50% say that they prefer the community and the gameplay to the economy. So the economy is still a big part of it, but most people are still having a lot of fun socializing, playing the game in addition. That is so key to making this model work. There are also people who are not playing the game to earn the Smooth Love potions. They see themselves as more collectors. They might be after the prestige and the status and meeting people who are in this economy. You can meet other people who are really interested in crypto, who might have been early to crypto. And it's actually very difficult to meet people like this in your physical life, especially you might live in some part of your country, or you might live in some country where nobody around you is really even interested in crypto, right? So this is also a way to make deep social connections with anyone you kind of like, rather than being constrained by your physical surroundings. So Axies have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are special Mystic Axies. So I highly recommend that you take a look at these Mystic Axies, find out why they're so cool. There are many articles online about that. I'm not going to go too deep into that right now. So one of the amazing things is, right, for a long time, people talked about, okay, games are going to bring mass adoption to blockchain technology, but for so long, nothing was happening. But finally, it's now, just recently, gaming has come on the scene thanks to Axie Infinity, where Axie has now shown that it can generate even more revenue than a protocol like Ethereum, or even 7 times more than a protocol like Bitcoin through fees. So I think this is going to kick off a lot of interest around creating these new types of games, and it's amazing. So yeah, a lot of people ask me, right, like, so we were actually building since 2018, all through the bear market, right? Everyone thought that that NFT, nobody cared about NFTs, nobody cared about NFT gaming. This was the most important part of our community, the part that you cannot see on this chart, because this is where our community was really learning how to think long term, and created these really deep social connections. So all during this time, we were building, right? We were making the game more fun. We were making the marketplace easier to use. The final part of that, the final key, was when we actually migrated all Axies to Ronin, our Ethereum sidechain, earlier this year. And this is what actually caused the huge spike in volume, which you can see here. We have also seen a huge increase in daily active users. It ended July at around 800,000. We're about to wrap up August at 1.4 million users. So this is one of the first times, right, that a blockchain application that's not an exchange is getting millions of users to use this. This is really important for the sustainability and the future of crypto. We can't only have people trading. That cannot be the entire industry. We need consumers who are actually interested in using applications that give them fun, right? So there's might be this cultural element, this social element. This is what we need to make this journey a lot more than just about money. I think a really interesting thing is that also 41% of our players are women. So we're actually also not just bringing blockchain to a new type of user, but also to women who traditionally have not been using blockchain applications. So many of our players are actually single mothers who are using Axie to survive really hard times. And yeah, I think this is really an amazing stat where our game is just sticky. Our retention metrics, so the number of users that are still playing our game after 30 days is much, much higher than in a traditional game. And I think that this shows that people see Axie as more than a game. It's a lifestyle, it's a cultural thing, it's an economy, it's a job for many. So yeah, I also want to talk a little bit about the Axis token very quickly, because that might be actually how many people found out about Axie. So this is the Axis token. Basically, all revenue generated by the game is put into a treasury, and in the future, you'll be able to stake those tokens and decide what is done with that treasury. But Axie isn't just about the numbers, right? It's an incredible community of artists, developers. So in the future, we'll even have third-party applications built by our community, right? Or third-party games built by our community. And we'll be working on an SDK to facilitate this. There are even esports teams. There are people getting tattoos. So I think this really shows how crazy, how passionate people are. It's really amazing to behold. But yeah, there's still a long way to go. Even though we have 1 million users, we still need to make the game more fun. We need to allow people to start playing without having to spend lots of money to get started, or to even find to borrow Axies. Right now, it's very difficult to get started. You either need to borrow them or buy them, right? So we're gonna allow people to start testing out the game for free before making any economic decisions. We'll also be upgrading the art, and we'll also be allowing people to upgrade their Axies. So basically use crafting materials that you earn by playing the game to maybe change, for example, your horn, right, and make it a level 2 horn, your mouth, things like that. So it would be, yeah, it wouldn't make sense to talk about Axie without talking about the scholarship system. This is an amazing thing where people are now borrowing Axies, and in some cases even signing employment contracts. And basically, it's really hard to get started with Axie, right? It's very expensive as well. Some Axies are selling for hundreds of dollars. So basically, these organizations will buy Axie assets and lend them out to people, and then agree to share a percentage of the tokens that they earn by playing the game. So I think that this is the future of work. This is a new type of job that's being created, just like being a Uber driver or Kakao taxi driver, right? In the past, that was not a thing. This is a new kind of job. I think it's going to be very flexible, and yeah, I think we need to keep thinking about new types of jobs that we can create, especially because certain jobs are being destroyed right now, especially during the pandemic. Yeah, so this is someone who has applied for a job or for a scholarship farming Axies. She says she wants to help her family by obtaining an Axie scholarship from a visionary team. And she wants to contribute her gaming experience. And she's also talking about all the games that she's played in the past. So this is a futuristic CV or resume. So yeah, I think we really believe that games will bring a new type of user to this ecosystem, and it's already starting to work, right? So what has our strategy been? We've combined a fun game with a scalable sidechain infrastructure, which is Ronin, and also this distribution, right? So we may not, distribution for games, especially mobile games, is very difficult. So we have our own approach to this, where we've been able to grow despite not even being on the Apple Store, or the iOS Store, or the Android Play Store yet. So yeah, if you're interested in Ronin or the technical specification of it, so Ronin is a sidechain. It basically allows us to make Axie fast and easy to use. And there is a bridge from Ethereum to Ronin where these different assets can exist and be used very quickly, but they can also be settled back to Ethereum. So yeah, thank you so much for attending this talk. It's been really amazing to be here to tell you a little bit about Axie. This is, as I mentioned, this is a digital nation. It's about making games about more than just having fun, but also potentially earning a living, forming deep economic relationships with anyone, anywhere in the world. So yeah, we're currently we're doing well. Our game is growing really quickly, but we really think that we're going to be taking huge steps towards going mainstream even later this year. So yeah, we're really excited, and thank you for thank you for attending this talk. Yeah, so we are currently using our own custom sidechain called Ronin to run the majority of the transactions within the game. So there are no gas fees right now on Ronin, so everything is quite cheap and easy to use. The fee that we do take is the 4.25% marketplace fee. So if, for example, you sell an Axie for $100, you will receive $95.75. And we will take $4.25, right? So, and the thing is, as I mentioned, we used to take that, but now that 4.25% goes into a community treasury, and this is one of the aspects of the Axis token. Sure. I mean, so we just put out a statement a couple of days ago recommending that our players all abide by the laws of their home countries. So we stick by that. Yeah, I think, right, like in income from playing a game, will be kind of taxed differently in different countries. So yeah, it's something that, right, like it's still very new. This is a new concept. But yeah, it's something that governments are going to have to start to learn about. So we're happy to help educate and teach governments how this model works, why it's good for nations to embrace this type of game. And yeah, hopefully we can have a nice path forward. Sure. So Axie sustainability, I think, just derives from the fact that it's a fun game with an amazing community. So at the end of the day, right, like there has to be spending in the economy that's just for fun or status. And yeah, by making the game more fun, by making the community more fun, these are ways to encourage more of that kind of spending, especially in the long run. But yeah, all economies, right? If you think of Axie as an economy, yes, like growth does make it easier, right? It's kind of like, if you're growing, then things are going well. But if growth slows, you can go into a recession. That has happened before many times, to be honest, over the last 4 years, where we've grown and then growth has slowed down and there's a recession. It's going to happen more times in the future. But I think the key is, can we continue to deliver on our roadmap? Can we continue to make the game more fun, the community more fun over time? Can we make it more appealing? Yeah, so these are the things that we can focus on and really control. Yeah, There are certain things that we cannot control, especially right with economic design, if that makes sense. Even the market cycle, right? Sometimes the market needs to find you, right? Like we were doing the same thing kind of for 3 years, and then all of a sudden people woke up to us, right? So it's like that's something that we can't control. But what we can control is how hard we work, how we communicate with our community, whether we make it very obvious what our revolution stands for and how people can participate.